The timing of pollination varies depending on the specific plant species and the local environmental conditions. Generally, pollination occurs when plants are in their flowering stage, and their reproductive organs are mature and ready for pollination. In temperate regions, where there are distinct seasons, pollination often takes place during the spring and summer months when many plants are in bloom. However, some plants may have different flowering and pollination periods. For example, some species may bloom in the early spring, while others may flower in the late summer or fall. In tropical regions, where the climate is relatively stable throughout the year, pollination can occur at any time when the plants are in bloom. Certain tropical plants have specific flowering patterns that coincide with factors like rainfall or seasonal changes in light availability. It's important to note that not all plants rely on insects like bees for pollination. Some plants are wind-pollinated, relying on the movement of air to carry their pollen from one flower to another. These plants often have inconspicuous flowers and produce large amounts of lightweight pollen that can be easily dispersed by the wind. Timing of pollination depends on the plant species and the environmental factors that influence their flowering patterns. It can occur during specific seasons or be more continuous in tropical regions. Bee pollination is an essential process in the reproduction of flowering plants. Bees are one of the most important pollinators, and their role in the ecosystem is vital for maintaining biodiversity and sustaining many agricultural crops. Here are some key points about bee pollination. The pollination process. When bees collect nectar and pollen from flowers, they inadvertently transfer pollen grains from the male reproductive organs, anthers, to the female reproductive organs, stigma, of the flowers. This transfer of pollen is called pollination. The importance of pollination. Pollination is crucial for the sexual reproduction of plants. It leads to fertilization and the production of seeds, which allows plants to reproduce and create new generations. Moreover, pollination promotes genetic diversity and helps maintain the stability of ecosystems. The bee anatomy. Bees have specialized body structures that facilitate pollination. They possess branched hairs on their bodies, especially on their legs and bodies, which help them collect and carry pollen. Some bee species also have pollen baskets on their hind legs, where they store collected pollen during their foraging trips. The pollen collection. Bees collect pollen as a food source for their larvae. They use their mouthparts to scrape and pack pollen into pollen baskets or carry it on their bodies. Bees also gather nectar, a sweet liquid produced by flowers, for their own energy needs. The flower selection. Bees are attracted to flowers by the bright colors, fragrances, and the presence of nectar. Bees have color vision and are particularly drawn to blue, purple, and yellow flowers. They can see ultraviolet light, which reveals unique patterns on flowers known as nectar guides, guiding them towards nectar-rich areas. The pollinator diversity. There are thousands of bee species worldwide, ranging from honeybees and bumblebees to solitary bees. Different bee species have varying preferences for flower shape, size, and nectar rewards. This diversity of bees contributes to the pollination of various plant species. The crop pollination. Bees play a crucial role in agricultural systems by pollinating many crops. It is estimated that 1/3 of the global food supply depends on bee pollination. Crops such as almonds, apples, blueberries, cherries, and melons heavily rely on bees for pollination to produce abundant and high-quality fruits and seeds. The challenges to bee pollination. Bees face various challenges that can impact their pollination services. These challenges include habitat loss, pesticide exposure, diseases such as colony collapse disorder, climate change, and invasive species. These factors can affect bee populations and their ability to pollinate effectively. Efforts are being made to conserve bee populations, create bee-friendly habitats, reduce pesticide use, and raise awareness about the importance of bees and pollination.